Hello, and welcome to the Serotonin podcast, where we encourage you to action 3Gs to grow, glow, and go after your goals, your dreams, and your passions. Today, we're in the city of Bath with the lovely Aya, and I'm going to ask Aya, as our guest today, Aya, who are you, and how are you truly feeling right now?
Okay, thank you, Sima, for having me. I'm very excited to be here today. So hi everyone, my name is Aya and I'm a third year, final year psychology student at the University of Bath doing my undergrads. I'm also a certified happiness coach and mindfulness instructor, and I'm the author of Challenge Yourself and Be the Hero of Your Life, which is a personal development and positive psychology workbook for children. And I'm also the student ambassador for the British Psychological Society. Now, to answer maybe who truly am I, which I think you expect a deeper answer than this, I'd say I'm a person that is positive. I'm a person that is determined and always hopeful. And how truly I am feeling today, I'd say excited. I'm very excited because I'm graduating this year, and I'm very excited to be here and to be part of such a meaningful initiative.
Aww.
And I'm also very excited, I think, because it's the start of the year. We're still like in January, there's still like 11 months left. So I'm excited to see the opportunities that will come my way, the people I'm gonna meet. Yeah.
I love that answer. When you said certified, I knew a lot of the amazing things you mentioned, but certified happiness coach, you said.
Yeah.
That's so cool. How did you get that certification? How did it happen?
Okay, so it was back during the pandemic, during COVID-19. I was in high school, and I remember when the pandemic hit and then there was a lockdown, I started like asking myself questions beyond how people felt, physically, but also like on an emotional and psychological point of view, because we were at home, and then so much of the time when we're sad, when we're going through something, we always like to find happiness through, for example, shopping, through traveling, through meeting our friends, but these weren't things that we were actually able to do during the lockdown. So I was like, does that mean that people can't actually be happy or be well? And so I started asking myself these kind of questions and reading about it and all. And then at the same time, my mom, who's also into coaching and personal development, she was doing this certification, which is actually by Happitude, which is a company in India, and it's in collaboration with the Berkeley Wellbeing Institute in the US. So it's accredited by both. And then she did that and she told me about it. So then I did it, and I was actually and I was I think 14 years old back then. So I was like the youngest in the cohort. It had like people 60 years old, 40 years old, 20 years, 30 years old. And they even like they didn't accept at first. Yeah, but then we insisted and all, and I actually made it.
Love that. Go you. Certified happiness coach at 14. You heard it here, guys. So you already have years of experience.
Yeah.
And so with all your work in psychology, as an author, being a certified happiness coach since 14, what would you say from all these experiences has maybe been the most shaping of where you are today? Or not necessarily which one, but altogether, how do you feel like a lot of them have shaped who you are at this moment now, January 2026, Aya?
I think it did shape me a lot in terms of personality-wise and knowledge-wise, because when I was a happiness coach, or when I was writing the book, or when I needed to deliver the workshop, it meant I needed to like read a lot about it, read a lot about psychology, whether that was books, articles, watch videos, movies, and learn a lot about it. And so as you learn, it also helped me grow as a person in terms of like adopting and putting into practice the things that I was reading about. And I think also interacting with people and pushing myself out of my comfort zone, because like once I took the certification, I started like doing workshops. And so I was like a 14 or 15 years old young girl, and doing workshops or sessions to people that were like 30 and 40. So I really had to like push myself out of my comfort zone and be there and take part in initiatives and things. So I think this really shapes me. And also like interacting with people, seeing how people actually can learn and benefit from the things that you're sharing with them, especially kids. So I think like being able to actually like inspire and That's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And so like doing workshops, all of this reminds me of how I did a workshop to a lot of, well, you've clearly done many workshops, but I know one of them was about your book. Would you say that maybe like doing the certification at a younger age inspired the book, or how did you come up with the idea for your book? I'd love for you to share with the audience what the book is about, so that everyone can be inspired to go get themselves a copy. Feel free to self-plug too.
Okay. So no, I think the book wasn't really related to the certification at all. It was related to my childhood when I was like 4 or 5 years old. So every day my mom used to read to me bedtime stories, but these bedtime stories were different. It was like I don't know, they call them, I think, positive and motivational stories. The stories that always like end with a moral or like a lesson and a message and stuff like that. And it was always related to like self-confidence, to goals, to getting out of your comfort zone and stuff like that. So I really used to love them a lot. And like I said, my mom was really into personal development and positive psychology. So every time she read about something or learned something, she would share it with me. And as I grew up and as I started, reading myself these kind of things, and then one night before going to bed, I was like, you know what? This whole journey started actually with those stories. And so I was like, why not do the same thing for other kids, for other children? But then I didn't want it to be just like a basic book. I wanted it to be something that's like engaging, that's fun, something that like they can learn new things, but then not in a boring way, but in a fun way. So I wanted it to be like an activities book. So basically it's a personal development and positive psychology workbook with like different chapters like mindfulness, self-confidence, managing your emotions, setting goals, gratitude, positive thinking. And so every chapter starts with like introducing the theoretical concepts in like a language that is accessible to children, and then there's like a bunch of activities to put it into practice.
Wow, really?
So, and fun fact, I wrote it in 2 weeks. And at that time, like I was 15, I think, and there wasn't like AI, ChatGPT, so it meant like actually reading and writing it. And so I remember like after I had that thought, the next day, so it was during the pandemic, we used to have online classes and start at like 8 instead of 8:30, I think, instead of 7. And so I woke up at like 5:30 for 2 weeks, and I would like actually read articles and stuff and then do it, write it before my classes, and then
that's
after.
So organized.
I wish I had this dedication that I used to have.
Oh my gosh.
So
I guess take inspiration from your younger self.
But then it took time to like publish because of the design process.
And you mentioned that there's like different topics, and then with each topic there's an activity that children can do. How many topics approximately is it, and like how did you choose which ones to include?
I think it's 6 or 7.
Okay,
6 or 7 chapters, so each topic is like a different chapter, and it's inspired from like the concepts of positive psychology. And so like the most basic and like the minimum that you need to get to, so it's basically like the first chapter is getting to know yourself. So it's important to know who you are, your values, the things you stand by, the things that you want in your life. And then there's like stuff for your well-being, like having a positive mindset, positive self-talk. Then there's stuff for like managing your emotions, what you do when you're angry, when you're sad, when you're afraid. And then there's things like mindfulness, so to relax. And then there's like gratitude. So it's just like the main concepts of positive psychology.
Okay, what's your favorite concept?
My favorite chapter is the managing your emotions, because I think it's very important that when you're going through like a tough situation, like when you're angry or when you're sad or something, that you don't let your emotions take the control over you, but that you don't let them impact the people around you in a negative way, or like your life circumstances, that you learn how to manage them. And it's also, I think it's like the funnest chapter because of the activities. I'll give you an example, and I feel like everyone can use it, actually, not just children. So one of the things is like when you're angry, imagine that you're holding a bowl of soup, and it's very, very hot soup, and then your mission is to like cool it down. So like imagine you're actually holding it, and then you like blowing over it 10 times. So you inhale and then you exhale 10 times. And then as you do that, imagine that you're cooling down, like the soup is getting colder.
That's so smart. And you know what's crazy? when you said to imagine I'm holding a bowl of soup, this is the same position that like for like prayer, right? Or like making dua in Islam. Which I guess channels like subconsciously that feeling of like coming into peace and like serenity, right?
There is something in the gratitude chapter where it's like a hand like this, and you have to write in the hand the things that you're grateful for and like the people in your life.
Wow. Also, like, are people meant to write on the book?
Oh yeah, it's activities. So
like it's a full-on workbook.
There's stuff like Snow White. What do they call
Snow White?
Her mother. No, the mother of the. What is it?
The
Wicked. The Wicked.
The evil.
The evil mother and stuff like that. And then there's things like if around it there's mirrors, and then it's written like if what are the things that if the evil mother of Snow White is angry she shouldn't do, and what are the things that she should do. And so there's like mirrors and stuff like breaking the wall, screaming at people, or like
that's
breathing.
So cool.
And then you have to circle, or like I don't remember, circle or color like the right answers and stuff like that. There's one that's like because the book was published in Dubai, in the UAE, not in Dubai. So there's an activity where there's like Burj Khalifa, and then there's a lift, and you have to go up to the top of Burj Khalifa, and this is basically, so there are different steps that you have to go through, and so think of your goal as the top of Burj Khalifa, and you're like at the bottom, and so the lift will stop at different floors, and so on each floor you have to write like the one step that will bring you closer to you. So yeah, there's a lot of like different
I want like you need to show me the copy that you mentioned.
I will,
like,
hopefully, yeah.
Guys, this sounds so fun. Like I'm so excited.
That's why I said the design process took
these
so
analogies.
long.
Oh my god, yeah. Tell the audience a bit about the
how
with the writing a book, obviously there's challenges. How did you get yourself through these challenges? How did you stay persistent throughout the journey?
I think so the biggest challenge was turning like the knowledge that you read into an accessible language for children. So because these are big concepts for a very young age, for like 6, 7, 8 years old, it's big concepts. So making it easy for them to understand and letting them actually enjoy it, this was a number one challenge. Then the second challenge was the design, because when I gave the book to the publishing house, and so it was just like text. And then it was like guided a bit from like how they can design it, but then it took some time, and I don't know if it's because maybe I'm a perfectionist and then like I had a different vision for it, so I ended up designing my own book on Canva.
Wow.
Yeah.
When it was like the publishing house, what was made you think like, okay, how are you, I guess advice to perfectionists like the both of us, what made you decide to put your foot down and be like, okay, you know what, I'm not going to keep going back and forth, I'm going to take this in my own hands, and that actually adds this element of artisanship and like a human touch connection to the author, because you made the designs yourself. So how did you decide to make that decision?
So I think, so don't get me wrong, like first of all, they were very helpful, and they designed actually the cover of the book, and some of the activities inside of it, they designed it. And but it's just that I think because I'm the one that wrote the book, and I feel like no one can see your vision as much as you see it yourself. So maybe it's like they weren't really getting what exactly I wanted. So I was like, some of the designs, like most of the designs that they did, I left them, and then at some point I was like, I want this book to be published. So I wanted it to be published before I graduate high school, but then so I was like, and then it was my first year of university and they were still working on it, so I was like, you know what, maybe it's just better if I put my own touch in it that way, because it's my vision at the end of the day. So that's how I did it, and then it got published in my first year, at the end of my first year.
Yay! Oh, I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
And I had a question in my mind when you were speaking, and now I think I'm forgetting what it was. We were talking about the design and your challenges, right? Well, the question left my mind, but another question I have is, since the publishing of the book, do you feel like you've noticed maybe a difference in anything, or do you feel like it's led to any opportunities for you? How has being like an author now like influenced or changed your life?
I think first of all, it's really nice, especially when you talk about it here, because like usually you have I have the tendency, or some people have the tendency that you do something, you achieve something, and then you're like, okay, like now it's done, next. So I really like it when people, like, I see it from people's point of view, and when they talk about it, and that's when I realize that actually, it's nice, like, having done that at a young age. You don't realize it when you're on yourself, like, by yourself. But I think what it led to the most is, apart from, like, of course, having a book and having achieved something at a young age, it's opportunities. So whenever people hear that I published a book or something, people are like, oh, like. And then sometimes I got invited to, like, to podcasts to talk about it. So this is, like, I think the second or third podcast about, like, that, in which I talk about the book. And then back in my school, so they invited me for, like, a book launch event. So where I delivered a workshop for, like, children, also inspired from my book. And then lately the Talking Therapist, which is, like, a therapy center in Bahrain, that I interned with them, and then I came back after a year to do a workshop around it. And then also, like, talking about it on social media and inspiring people, like people from my school that were a lot younger than me. They bought the book, and then I got, like, some DMs of how they liked it and how like, they enjoyed it. So that it's very rewarding. So
you should be so proud of yourself.
Thank you.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Especially, like, going back to your school, like, you were in that school as a kid, their position, writing a book, and, like, such a whole circle moment. And I remembered my other question, actually. My other question was, when you, like, thought, because I feel like, lots of people get an idea for a book, but what's really good about you is you actually executed it, right? Not everyone takes action on their ideas. So how would you say you, like, when you had this idea and you're like, okay, I want to write a book, how did you end up, like, reaching out to the publishing company, or, like, did you know someone, or how did you go about, like, putting all the pieces together to actually get the book published?
So I like the point how you said most of the time we have so many ideas, like anything, business ideas, video ideas, sometimes for content. And then I think this is the difference between the people that, like, in general, like, entrepreneurs, if you look at it, that succeed and that don't. It's like, it's not about the quality of the idea, but it's about how dedicated and how determined you are, and how much you're willing to, like, fight for it and put yourself out of your comfort zone. So I think the thing to act on your ideas, you have to know that you don't wait until you're 100% ready or 100% confident, because there's no such thing as being 100% ready or 100% confident, and you become ready and confident through pushing yourself out of your comfort zone and doing the thing. So I feel like there's also a tip that I saw once, and it was like, when you have an idea in mind or when you want to do something, don't overthink it. Just as soon as it comes, count till 5 and then stand up and go do something about it. And so about the publishing house, so I wrote the book first. I didn't think about publishing houses. And then once it was done, I started looking online, and I wanted something to be, so I live in Bahrain, so I wanted something to be close, like, in the region, and a company that can really help with marketing and that is located in different countries. So yeah.
Okay, cool.
So I didn't know anyone, no.
Wow. So you went for it. She's a go-getter. That's a word that my dad and I like to use. Like, you just go get them,
Yeah, I like that.
Oh. And what would you say has been one of the most enjoyable processes for you, like, in becoming who you are today, studying psychology at uni, writing a book, hosting workshops, getting involved in the world, like, the field of psychology in a corporate level as well with your internship? All of these things, like, what do you feel like really brings you joy, brings you serotonin, and really uplifts you, and you're like, yeah, like, I really feel like myself in this environment, I want to continue doing this?
I feel like every time I'm, like, talking about psychology, I feel like I'm myself, and it fulfills me, because it's something that I'm really passionate about. So every time I get the chance to, like, share even a little bit of this knowledge with the rest of the world, whether that is, like you said, through workshops or through, like, even filming videos for TikTok or something, and that it's actually, I can see that even one comment or, like, one person comes to me and tells me that, oh, like, thank you for this, or you inspired me, or I feel like this is so rewarding. So seeing that I am capable of making a difference in people's lives. So I think, yeah, this is my favorite part about it. And just, like, any conversation that's around psychology just brings me serotonin. I feel like I like when there's a quote that I really like, and then it says, if you do something that you're passionate about or something that you love, you don't feel like you're working a day. So I feel like it's like that. It's whenever I'm talking about psychology or anything related to personal development, it's like I forget about the time, I forget about forget about myself. It's just like you're so into it, and
Yeah.
you're talking about it, and you just enjoy it. So yeah.
Speaking of like talking about psychology and enjoying it, what's one thing, if you could change about psychology, that you would change?
Wow. I feel like that's a very big question. I think not psychology itself as like the science and the theories, but I think the stereotypes around it a lot. Like how psychology is perceived, especially like I said, coming from like a Middle East background. I think psychology is in many countries and in many cultures still very, very stigmatized. There's so many stereotypes around it in the sense of like, psychology is just for crazy people. There's no such thing as psychology. Psychology is all lies. Psychologists are just here to take your money and stuff like that. So I think really changing the people's vision of psychology, and also making people understand that mental health is as important as physical health. Now, sometimes when you're sick, when your throat hurts, everyone hears about it. Like the whole family, all of your friends. But if sometimes you're depressed or you're not feeling well or you're going through a tough situation, no one hears about it and you have to like hide it. Even when I decided to study psychology, a lot of people from like my bigger family, from my friends, from my teachers, they came to me and they were like, you have good grades in school. Why do you want to do psychology? Go do like medicine. Go do, I don't know, all of those famous like job like architecture, engineering. Why do you want to do psychology? Like psychology is not in some countries, it's not perceived as being one of those like higher prestigious degrees, jobs and degrees. Changing people's like the misconceptions around psychology, I'd say.
In terms of how psychology has many different facets, there's different types and aspects of it. What would you say is, and I know we talked about this over lunch, but I want you to share with the audience, what kind of psychology are you the most passionate about? Or which fields of psychology?
I think two fields. The first one, clinical psychology, because I think it's the one that really makes a difference in people's lives. So, helping people overcome their traumas, heal, become the best version of themselves. And I also like recently a field of psychology that's really growing, and that is organizational psychology. So well-being and happiness in the workplace, and employees' well-being, and yeah.
Love it. And how have you got excited there. How have you practiced organizational psychology through your internships, for example?
So I did an internship in an HR department in a telecommunications company, Zain, back in Bahrain. And so again, business psychology or organizational psychology is something that is still developing. So there aren't really that much positions in most of the companies position that says, your organizational psychologist or something. So it's still now in the HR teams as part of mainly the organizational development sub-team. And so through my internship, I had the chance of delivering a workshop to the youth employees in the company, and which was about resilience and how to maintain your well-being through, if you're going through tough situations or stressful situations at work. And a lot of them were also university students, and at the same time, really? They had a job. Okay. So maintaining your well-being while balancing a lot of tasks. And then, so the company is they're very developed, one of the most developed in terms of, employee well-being. So they had things like a wellness room with candles and a time to rest from take a break from the pressures of work, and then activities and positive affirmations everywhere and stuff. So it was putting in place, developing ideas or suggestions on how to enhance employees' well-being, whether that is through day trips, day events, in the wellness room and things like that.
Cool. And so in terms of organizational psychology and clinical psychology, I know you were saying that sometimes you struggle to find the balance of which one do you want to pursue, which one do you want to go about. But if, let's say, anyone's in a position where they've thought about clinical psychology or getting help, let's say if it's someone in the world of business who thinks that maybe their teams need some organizational psychology support, or on the other hand, someone who feels for their personal life they want to seek a clinical psychologist support and expertise, To your point earlier about the fact that some people don't quote unquote believe in the value of like psychology, what would your message be to people to like who are maybe considering therapy, or then people in corporate who are considering benefiting from the value of psychology?
I think in terms of like clinical psychology and therapy, I think don't listen to what other people say. So if you think that doing this thing will benefit you and if you really want to go out of the situation that you're in, which it is something that is possible, and if you want to become the best version of yourself and you want to heal, as long as it's something that is very personal, it's something that is related to you. So if this thing makes you become a better person or makes you feel better, then do it. You don't have to think about what other people say, because at the end of the day, this is your life. Like, they can judge you, they can tell you, oh my god, this person is going to a psychologist, even though there's like absolutely nothing wrong to it. But then they're going to go back to their houses, they're going to go back to their homes, to their normal lives, and you'll be the one at the end of the day, suffering the consequences. Help is possible. The thing is, like, mental health is as important as physical health, because actually so many of physical diseases are related to mental health. Now if you suppression of emotions, suppression of, if something is bothering you and you don't talk about it, the traumas, you don't heal them, then, there's like a lot of throat problems, there's a lot of like,
that is true, I do feel that. Like,
yeah, it's like sometimes when you want to, for example, I don't know, like cry, or you want to say something, but then you were suppressed, you feel like maybe pain here, so there's so many stuff, like even headaches and so many things so many physical diseases are actually caused by psychological distress.
Really?
So the earlier you seek, help, the better it is. And at the end of the day, this is your life. So you have to just think about what is best for you. And this is why, again, if we link it back to the book and children, that is why I feel like everything starts in your childhood. So that's why having the right foundations from a young age is very important. So, and of course, parents and educators and teachers play a big role in this. If a child has the right foundations from a very young age, when they grow up later, they have the right, luggage and background of knowledge that they can apply in their workplace, in their educational context, in their relationships. So instead of you grow up and then you have to go back and heal everything and start over again.
That's so, I know, I'm just so fascinated by the fact that you're so right. I genuinely with the things you mentioned, feeling like your throat, your chest, there is such a link. And what about on the corporate side?
Oh yeah, on the second part of the question.
Yeah, sorry, I jumped off the question.
So for the corporate side, look, I think there's so many studies out there that show, and even I'm sure from everyone's experience, if you are well, you cannot pour into someone else's cup if your own cup is empty. So if you with yourself, you feel good, your well-being is good, you're comfortable, you're in inner peace, you can contribute a lot more to a company, to a project, to a business, to a meeting, whatever it is, which in turn will grow the company and the profit and all of that. So I think it's a cycle.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
Every employer, every person would want the people in their company to feel good, to be with them, to be authentic to themselves, and in turn this benefits the company at the end of the day. And
And let's say you had your own company, and let's say you work at a company and you can implement whatever you like in terms of the organizational development side of things. What would be some maybe activities or habits that you would implement that you really would encourage all teams to do, whether it's on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, or an annual basis? What's something fun and unique you'd introduce that you think people aren't doing today, or maybe that people in the corporate world, leaders who are watching, could consider implementing in their businesses?
That's so interesting, and it reminded me of something. I have an optional module this year that I'm taking. It's called creativity and innovation, and a big part of it is about organizations. And so a research proposal that we did was about how having mindfulness sessions every week, even for 2 hours or 1 hour per week at the start of the week, can help boost employees' creativity and performance. So it's still a research proposal, but then there's a lot of studies out there that show how much well-being programs mindfulness, gratitude, stress management can actually help enhance employees' performance and creativity. So I think having something like that, something like a regular program, like every week, that people can take part of, and every time there could be a different topic, things like leadership development, well-being, mindfulness, gratitude, positive talk. I think also having like the way the company is organized matters. So having, for example, like things written on the walls. There's like a message that appears maybe on your screen every morning when you open it, like something like "you got this today,"
I love that.
or you're glowing, you're growing. I don't know, motivational. I think makes a difference. But of course, if we have to be mindful of the the time that these kind of initiatives will take from people's job and people's responsibilities. But I think it's still like, even if it's for just 1 hour a week, I'm sure it makes a lot of a difference.
Yeah.
So having well-being programs, I'd say, yeah.
And what do you think what is your ultimate dream, or what do you envision for yourself with your passions moving forward, post-university? If you're comfortable sharing, what are your plans?
Yeah. The thing is, I feel like I can talk about this for days because there's so many things. I'd say my biggest is, of course, making a difference in society and making an impact. And one of my dreams is to have like my own practice center one day, and to be able to contribute to not only in schools with children, but also in like the corporate world with organizations and employers and employees, and like executive coaching and stuff like that, and also to like normal people, helping them feel better. I also want to why not publish maybe another book.
Ooh.
I want to
You heard it here. Is this something you're working on?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
Yeah.
But one of my dreams also is to have my own TV program, and everything psychology related. So every episode would be one of the key concepts of psychology.
That's so cool.
So yeah.
And actually, I would love to give a promo to Aya. Aya, she is launching a podcast in the near future, so keep an eye out for that. Do you want to tell us a bit more about it?
So it's called Aya Talks Psych, and it's going to be a more elaborated version of the content that I'm doing on Instagram and TikTok. So solo episodes talking about everything that's psychology related, well-being related, personal development, and the goal will be to just help you follow your dreams, become the best version of yourself, have confidence in yourself. And then why not also have episodes with guest speakers, so whether that is life coaches, psychologists, or young activists in the field of mental health.
Oh, so, I love that. I'm so excited for when you launch it. I will be the first watcher, viewer.
A lot of my inspiration is from you. I love this podcast.
No, you're something else, guys. If you're not already watching Aya's content today, I highly recommend it. It's a great boost of serotonin to your day. Just if you're scrolling on TikTok, and hopefully more to Instagram soon.
Yeah, thank you.
She just shares bite-sized, very digestible, similar to how her book is a very digestible, accessible psychology educational information. Her content is a great way to learn more about psychology. And even for me, I was telling Aya earlier that I nearly studied psych. I love psychology, but and this is psychology, right? If you don't reinforce your memory or remind yourself of certain information, you are going to forget it. So for me, your content is a great way for me to keep in touch with that passion of psychology.
Oh, I love that. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. And I love the way you just come on and you come with your really cute color coordinated outfit and tell us about psychology and about concepts you're passionate about, because then you transfer. And we were talking earlier about, I keep saying we were talking earlier, we had a really nice lunch, guys, in Good Day Cafe. If you're in Bath, go to Good Day Cafe. We both got, it's funny because everyone goes for sweets, but we went for a sweet potato soup. We got matching meal. But sorry, I keep sidetracking. The point is, earlier we were talking about energy and how energy is really important. And I feel good energy from your, the energy is transferred through your videos when I'm watching it.
Energy is very contagious.
Yes, I feel like I'm being educated. I feel like I'm I feel like I'm being enlightened with knowledge, you know what I mean? So keep up your great content. I love it. And actually, I would love for you to share your perspective about energy and how it works, from a psychological perspective, maybe.
So I feel there's a lot to energy. There's, first of all, there's energy with yourself, and energy in terms of if you want to approach it from a not so psychological perspective, maybe from like manifestation and universe and law of attraction. Then there's like energy when it comes to people and connecting with people. I'm a big believer in like you should have like the same kind of like energy and positive vibes as with like with the people that are around you and the people that are close to you. And and then the other kind of energy is more about like vibration. So the always like there's like I don't know what's the word in it for English, but let's call it like a time.
You can say it in another language.
In French.
En français, what is it?
Échelon. It's like a like let's say a bar or something. Like
a timeline.
Yeah. Okay, let's call it timeline. You guys will get the point.
Yeah.
Okay. And so at the highest, it's like a frequency itself, and the highest is like love, happiness, excitement. And then at the lowest, like in the lowest bar, it's everything that's like hatred, jealousy. So it's always important that we're vibrating in this high level of energy, that we're always like surrounded by people that bring us love, that bring us joy, that bring us a positivity, that bring excitement into our lives, or even like ourselves do stuff so that we keep on vibrating in the zone of energy and not in the zone of like jealousy and hatred and anger. Because the more you are vibrating in the high zone of energy, the better things you attract into your life in terms of like opportunities, in terms of like people in your life. And this is within your control. So just doing the simple things, like doing something that you enjoy, something that you love, having a good conversation with a person, already raises your energy, raises your energy levels to that level of frequency.
What else would you say, or you can advise to people to get higher up in the energy frequency?
So first of, like I said, surrounding yourself with the right people, the people that you can feel authentic around, that you can feel yourself, doing things that you enjoy, things that you're passionate about, things like gratitude raises a lot the energy, and gratitude is like one of the keys to happiness, because you go from an energy of lack to an energy of abundance, and being thankful and like recognizing the things that you have in your life. Mindfulness, also meditation, because you relax and you reconnect with yourself. So I think the key is to always, now of course being angry, being sad, and these kinds of things are normal emotions, but the key is not to ignore them or ignore the bad things, but it's to understand it, accept it, learn from it, but then learn how to manage it and go beyond it, not get stuck there. So managing your emotions is also something very important.
What do you personally do to make yourself feel high vibrant energy?
I feel content. When I feel content, for example, it makes me feel good. I also listen to music. I do things that I don't know, enjoy. Like sometimes I can watch a movie, I can watch a series, just work on my goals. Sometimes it's also reminding myself of like the things that I've done, the things that I've achieved. So positive self-talk, most important thing, and affirmations. Now if you go into my room, you will see that there isn't a single white wall. I'm serious, it's like it's all full of posters and of like affirmations, posters. Like my room is my vision board. So there's stuff like even Forbes is like on the wall.
As it should be.
Affirmations, quotes, everything. Even like around my mirror, on the cupboards, on my wardrobe. So that way, like my brain is the full time exposed to this kind of conversation, this kind of content, and this reprograms your subconscious mind unconsciously. And that way my brain, like your brain just knows that, there is no other way. This is it.
Like this is my life.
Exactly. And whenever you're feeling like down or something, when you look up, because wherever you look, you're gonna see it, and it boosts you back, and it reminds you, and
And how often do you say that you take this time to reflect and maybe update like the pictures in your room or your vision board? How often do you recenter? How often do you recommend people to do that?
I think mostly I feel like, first of all, when I wake up every morning, I think like I have a look at that, and when I'm getting ready, that's why I said next to my mirror, because when I'm getting ready and I'm like, I don't know, doing my hair, my makeup or something, I can see it. When I open the wardrobe, it's like on the so it's everywhere. Like you have to see it. Even when you open your eyes, you have to see it. And also around my desk, a lot around my desk. and it's curated, like it's different. Around the mirror is more stuff like you're beautiful, you look good. Around my desk is more stuff like focus on your goals, you got this, you can achieve this. It's like the things that business or education related things that I want to achieve. So it's usually whenever I'm feeling a bit like demotivated or a bit like low in terms of moods, and that I look back to it and it instantly like
you got it, girl. Yeah. Oh no, and I think it's so true and so powerful to have those motivational messages around you. Like I do the same thing. I have this quirk because with our landlord we can like put pictures and stuff everywhere, but like there's this cork board and I just have a bunch of sticky notes like you've got this, like chase your dreams, like, and like to your point about your mirror, like I have something that says I'm proud of you, Seema. Like I feel like it makes such a difference, like
exactly
when you hear it coming from you, because yes, like it's great to hear also these motivational messages from other people,
but inner dialogue
from yourself, it's just like a whole different form of self-love, and it's like, oh, like I'm like giving myself a hug, right?
Exactly.
So it's so empowering.
Self-love is self-love is, and it might seem like so basic and so simple, but you don't realize it, but it's actually shaping your brain, and it's shaping the way you see yourself, it's shaping your self-confidence. It's working on its own, you know?
Yeah. And to anyone struggling maybe with the steps of getting to accepting themselves and like loving themselves a bit more, what would you say is a good like first step on this journey? Because I would say obviously it's not like linear, right? Self-love is a very like up and down, peaks and troughs sort of journey. And even I myself, like I feel like we were speaking about looking to our younger selves for inspiration. I look to my younger self for inspiration because I feel like there was times where I was more confident before I started university, and then my confidence got higher and then it got lower, and sometimes I have to look back and think about how I was before, like connect with my inner child. So
this is a great tip. Yeah, because you always like look for inspiration like in other people, but actually you can look for inspiration within yourself.
How?
And like you said, looking back at your like how the version of you when you were a child. And I think also something that I feel like really boosts a lot self-confidence is take a piece of paper and write down all the things that you achieved, all the things that you did. Even if it's reading a book, running 1 kilometer, something super simple. And when you write them down and you see, you're like, actually, oh wow, like I am the person that did all of this. And there's like a new thing that I saw a video recently, and it's like a New Year practice to start. Take a jar and like at the end of each week, write down one good thing that either one good thing that happened in your life or one good thing that you accomplished, one thing that you did, and put it in the jar. And then at the end of the year, you'll have like, I don't know, like maybe more than 100, how many weeks are there? And then you go back and then you read them and you see actually how much you're able to do. And then second thing is self-talk. Like I think we cannot, I can't reiterate enough how important self-talk is. The inner dialogue is so important because like I said, you can't pour into something else if your own cup is empty. And so inner dialogue is very important. And then you just have to know that it's fine to be, everyone is different. Everyone has a different story. Everyone has different goals. Everyone has a different timeline. And it's normal to be different. And I think that's what makes us special as a person, is being different. And I think it's also always important to remind yourself that to not change who you are, change your values, change the things that you like just to fit in. I think it's easy in the context of like universities or schools or, you know, where you're meeting new people, and sometimes you feel like maybe you're different from other people, you have different vision, you have a different goals, and then you feel like you're maybe alone or something. But I think it's super important to know that your difference is what makes you special, and so never change your goals, your habits, your person that you are, your core values just to fit in. So
embrace you,
accept you. Exactly.
I love that. Again, I had a question in my mind. I don't know, I just got lost in your great advice. But with talking about university, starting at university, and like, you know, now it's your third year university, would you say that you would still, going back, you would still choose psychology and Bath specifically?
I would choose psychology, definitely. Even though there's like so many things I didn't expect and I was very surprised about the course. Things like the psychology isn't just clinical psychology, it isn't just therapy. There's a lot more to it. There's a lot of research involved, a lot a lot of essays and not really hands-on practice and case studies. So all of these things surprised me, but I'm generally like really passionate about it and about the like how much psychology has potential and how much it touches every single field in life and how much it can actually contribute and make a difference in the world. So I would definitely choose psychology over and over again. And no matter which route I take, whether that is like in a corporate context and hospitals and so, I always want to link it back to psychology and I always want to have that part in it. And Bath, yes, I would definitely choose Bath in the UK. Bath because it's a very cozy city.
Come to Bath, guys.
Yeah. Yeah, if you have like an offer from Bath, this is your sign to accept it.
Yes.
It's a very cozy city. It's safe. It's a very nice, like it has a community. The university is also a campus-based university, so this is like very nice. The events, the social, like the networking opportunities, there's so many things, and like I said, the people and all. And I would come to the UK in general, or like because I think that really coming to university changed me as a person a lot. It made me like push myself out of my comfort zone, become a bit more of an extrovert, and you know, learn how to be even like independent in terms of like doing your own like shopping, in terms of like groceries, even basic stuff we were saying, like taking the bus, relying on you, opening a bank account on your own.
Oh my god, yeah. That was the process.
So it really like shapes you as a person and you grow, I think.
Yeah. Aya, what's one thing from our conversation that you're gonna take away with you today, and you think you won't forget?
I feel like we had so many nice conversations, but I think my favorite thing of what you said is how you take inspiration from yourself as a kid. Because I feel like usually now with social media, people usually compare themselves to others, and you take inspiration from like other people and now with like influencers and all of that stuff. But I think it's also important to take inspiration from your past self and also from the person that you want to be. There's always like, people always ask who's your mentor, or who's the person, not your mentor, but who's the person you look up to. And I always answer that the person I look up to is the person that I want to become. Like my best version of myself. This is the person, like the person that I'm working to become. So I feel like, yeah, I really like that point of taking inspiration from yourself.
What do you do to take inspiration from your own self?
I think, like I said, I remind myself of the person that I was, like the person I was able to write a book in 2 weeks. Yeah. So whenever like sometimes I was maybe, I don't know, afraid of doing something, of pushing myself out of my comfort zone, but I did it. And I jumped like over the opportunity, and I went to a place where I didn't know anyone, and then I took part of something. So I feel like reminding myself that if I was able to do it before, then I can do it now. And I think also like looking at the woman that I want to become in terms of like personality, but also in terms of like you know, work context and career context, and then just like asking myself, you know, what would this version of Aya do now, you know, how would she act, like how would she talk, how would she dress, and I take inspiration from that. I feel like
I love that. Aya, can I give you a challenge?
Yes.
So you can accept the challenge.
Okay.
You can deny I always say this, decline the challenge.
Okay.
Or you can propose an alternative to the challenge. But before I give you the challenge, I want to ask you something. What is something that, if people were watching a movie and they saw you living your day-to-day life, they would be like, yeah, go Aya, she's doing great, but there's one thing she's not doing, and it's like, as if like, it's like when you're watching a show and you're screaming like to the character, like do it, but they're not doing it. What do you think that thing would be for you?
I think I need to think. Wait, I need to think a bit about this. I think procrastination, I'd say, maybe. It's like, I don't know, I think like, yeah, putting things back, postponing things. I feel like that's why when I told you earlier, I wish I had the same dedication I had before. I feel like now I procrastinate a lot sometimes. And so I don't know. I mean, maybe because perfectionism, maybe because you're like, there's so many things going on, and then you're like, you know, I'll just take care of this later. Like, this is not as important as it's like, you know, with deadlines. It's like when the deadline is approaching, and that's why like I never procrastinate. I feel like for university stuff or for like career and education stuff, but when it comes to like extra stuff, it's like because there is no one making you accountable, or like accountable for keeping you accountable for it, that you procrastinate it.
Yeah.
But then, you know, deadlines isn't something that you can procrastinate about a lot. So I feel like that, to be like, do it, just stop thinking.
What's something you're procrastinating that you know you need to do?
I want to build an app. I've been wanting to build an app for like, I don't know, 3 years.
That would align so well with your book, I think.
Yeah,
bringing those analogies to actual...
Exactly, because you know how kids now spend a lot of time on phones and iPads and all of that, so might as well make the most out of this time. And if you can play, you can enjoy, you know, and you can stay on technology or devices or whatever it is, but at the same time learn something from it. So an app, but it's just because, of course, there's so much work that has to go into it. You have to make sure that every concept that you write is actually scientifically proved. You have to, the whole programming side that I don't have the skills in and the knowledge in. So you have to like make sure that you're collaborating with the right companies, and then there's a lot of marketing that goes into it. So I just feel like it is something that I can do now, but it's something I've been procrastinating because maybe the time that it takes and the dedication, and then especially with like other commitments and things. So.
Obviously, it's a long journey, but what would the first next step be in building this app? The very next thing you would do?
I think thinking about the core elements that you want to have in it, and like how do you want it to look like, what are the things that you want to include, I don't know, for example, videos, games, or whatever it is. And
so you have, you're working on your dissertation right now, and it's taking up the majority of your time, right? But you still can dedicate, like for example today you've dedicated some time to this, which I'm grateful for, thank you. Can I challenge you to dedicate just 1 hour, at least 1 hour, only 1 hour this month? It's the 22nd of January today. Before February, I want to challenge you to dedicate 1 hour to thinking about the core elements of your app.
I love that. Thank you so much for giving me this challenge.
Would you like to accept the challenge?
Yes, definitely. I feel like, you know, maybe I needed to hear it. Yeah. I'll send you a report.
Okay. I'm expecting an update. And we are all keeping you accountable. This is you. You have said that you're going to accept this challenge. So you got this. And you don't have to have a full-fledged app or anything. You just need to take that next step to think about those core elements. That's all you have to do.
Thank you for this challenge. Okay. It's like, you need it. I need it.
I'm glad to hear that. And to wrap this episode up, I'd love for you to share with everyone a recommendation for how they can spread their serotonin today.
No, I love that. I think it's spreading it to people, you know, like
however you like. However you interpret the question, give an answer.
Okay, I think first of all, spreading the serotonin like to others is like being kind to people. I think like even like doing small daily acts, things like if you see, it's like, you know how kids are, they're very authentic, they're very themselves, and if they have something they say it. And sometimes you're like in a store or something, and then there's like a little girl that stares at you, and then she comes to you, she's like, oh, I like your hair, or I like your, I don't know, your shirt, or whatever it is. So things like this, I feel like, again, like we said, people don't rely on it for it to be like the main thing that will make you feel good about yourself, but it's always nice to hear it from others. So it's nice if helping someone or telling someone how good they are, how good they're working or they're doing something, or how good they look or something. It's nice. I think it will actually increase their levels of serotonin. I think doing that, that is one. You said one thing, right? And then if it's within yourself,
you can share as many as you like. Go for it. The more the merrier.
With yourself, I feel like we shared all of the tips already. This video, like everything, self-talk,
you
gratitude.
can make a book out of this episode.
Yeah, but I think something earlier related to what we were doing earlier, chocolate. Chocolate. So many studies show that chocolate increases your levels of serotonin, of dopamine, of having dark chocolate.
Check out who, it's yummy.
Dark chocolate. An unpopular opinion, but
yeah, honestly, we both love chocolate, and I like love milk chocolate and white chocolate, but I'm trying to get my taste buds adapted to dark chocolate. So although it's an unpopular opinion, I think it can become a popular opinion.
Exactly.
And I think this has been somehow proven. I don't back me up on it, but I'm sure you can find a study or something.
I think it has, yeah, there's...
But specifically about the older you get, the more you appreciate dark chocolate. I don't know if you've heard of that, but I feel like I've heard that somewhere.
Yeah.
Maybe look into it.
I mean, yeah, I feel like today I tried this chocolate with Seema and I loved it. And I, like, if I think of myself back when I was, like, I don't know, 5 or 6 years old, my mom used to eat a lot of dark chocolate and I was like, no way, like, I don't want to know, like...
It's so bitter.
Yeah.
Like, but, yeah, you can get used to it. So... Thank you guys for listening. Thank you so much, Aya, for coming today as a guest. I had so much fun talking to you.
Thank you for having me. Your energy is so contagious and you're like embodying positivity and yeah.
Well, I do learn a lot from you. I learn a lot about positive psychology and that's how we can better embrace it. So check out Aya's TikTok, hopefully her podcast soon, her book. I'll put like your details as well in the caption. Yeah, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me and thank you everyone for listening.
Yeah, thanks guys. We hope this gave you some serotonin for your day today. Go ace it. You've got this. Put those motivational Put those motivational messages, like I said, on your laptop. Like literally my laptop wallpaper is yes you can, because I always give myself excuses or assumptions, so it's like not even giving the option to say no, just yes you can. So whatever message you want to put it on your home screen, or as Aya does around her window, her mirrors. And yeah, thank you everyone and have a great day ahead.
Thank you.
Bisous. Bye.